Good morning, you guys. So today we are going to be drawing a three-dimensional box. And from this box, we're going to make rainbows come out because I feel like we could all use some rainbows in our life right now. But you can use it for all sorts of things, right? And your rainbow isn't going to have to look like my rainbow, right? So here's another rainbow I drew using my lines, right? My different types of lines. And you know what? If you want to go really crazy, you can draw anything coming out of your box, right? So I've changed it up. I'm drawing some airplanes. So it's really up to you and your imagination. And the big thing is getting this shape. So we're going to get started. And the first thing you need is a piece of paper. You're also going to need a pencil and an eraser because there are parts we need to erase. Some kind of outlining utensil, so whether it's a Sharpie, a marker, a black crayon, doesn't really matter to me. And then whatever you're going to use to color your creation. So, first things first. We're going to draw a rectangle with our pencil in the bottom of our paper. Now, we need to make sure we draw really lightly because there are parts we have to erase, and if we press down really hard with our pencil right now, it's going to be much harder to erase those lines. So, starting with our rectangle, I'm going to draw my first side, and I like to turn my paper around. I think it helps me make my lines straight. You don't have to. If you are better at drawing rectangles, you can just go for it. But I like to make sure I'm got some straight lines, and that's the way that I do it. Once you have your rectangle near the bottom of your paper, right, we're gonna draw another smaller rectangle on top, almost so that it looks like we're drawing like a second layer of a cake, but it's not a cake. And from here, we're gonna go on the sides of our two rectangles, and we're gonna draw some diagonal lines that are gonna connect the sides of our rectangles. And you can see now we have the side of our box, or what's starting to be the side of our box, and the inside where all of our stuff comes out. Next, we're gonna draw the flaps. So starting in this top corner, I'm gonna draw two lines, and you can see one line is bigger than the other, the line closest, right, to me, if you think about it this way, this bottom corner of my diagonal line. And that's because this side of the box is closer to us than this side. This side is farther away, so everything looks a little bit smaller. So just make sure when you're drawing your lines, right, even if they're not perfect, mine's not, that's okay. Even if they're not perfect, make sure that this line is longer than your back line. And that's gonna show that this is three-dimensional. Next, I'm gonna draw two more diagonal lines, and I'm gonna make these even bigger, right? And then, I'm gonna turn my paper again. I'm gonna go all the way across and connect them. And really, at this point, we're done with all of our lines. The only thing we need to do now is going back with our eraser. We're gonna erase these lines here on the side because what we're showing is that this flap that's opening up our box is coming down and covering part of the sides of our box. So we're showing that this flap is in front of this side right here. And now that's pretty much it. We're done. And now the fun part where we get to come and decide how we want our rainbow to look. All right, like I said, we all could use some rainbows. And I think for this one, I'm gonna draw, I think, two sides coming out. So I'm just gonna go for it. Actually, I'm not gonna plan. I'm just gonna start drawing the sides of my rainbow. Maybe I think I'm just gonna have it all like I'm gonna have it take up this whole space. So red, orange, yellow, green. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. So I'm just going for it, right? And you'll notice that because I went all the way up and I filled all of this space, I actually need to erase a little bit more because now my rainbow is coming and it's hiding this back side of my box. So I gotta erase a little bit more. Okay, and I'm gonna come back in. That's why we draw lightly. And from here, I can just start coloring. All right, so I'm gonna do that. Now, one nice thing I want you guys to remember when you color, and what I want you to practice, is using the chisel side of your marker. We've talked about the chisel side before. The chisel side is the flat part of our marker. So if I were to draw like this, I would be touching the point. And if I'm touching the point of my marker, right, it's not going to give me a very thick line. But if I turn my marker on the side and I use the side of my marker, I'm going to get a much thicker line. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using the chisel side of my marker to make really nice big strokes that are going to cover the paper much quicker. Okay, do this with me, you guys. We have red, orange, even when I make my thinner strokes, I'm still using that chisel side. Oops. Orange. Right. Yellow. Ooh. I know you guys made rainbow color wheels last week. I've been seeing some of the submissions you guys sent to your teachers, and I just want to say I am so proud of you guys. Your color wheels looked amazing. You guys were so creative. You found some really interesting things around your house. I saw water bottles, I saw food, I saw pens, I saw lots of your guys' toys. Yeah, it's really been brightening my day, and we're just gonna keep piggybacking on that because who doesn't love rainbows? And now we're focusing on how we're drawing them so neat using the chisel side of our markers so that we can make nice big lines. Okay, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, last but not least, purple. Now, if you are an older drawer, an older artist, and you're like, Miss Gutkin, I already know how to draw a rainbow. I already know how to do this. This is too easy. Don't draw a rainbow like me. Draw something completely different, right? Try to make it your own however you want. You can do it entirely in raindrops. What would that look like? You could do something like, what would it look like if it was all one giant swirl? Or like if it's coming from the rainbow and you're drawing it going backwards, what is on the other side of your rainbow, right? So this, you don't have to do it, but if that's where you're at and that's what you want, go for it. When we have our rainbow all colored and finished, we're gonna go back in and we're gonna outline. Now you get to choose. If you don't wanna outline, your lines in the middle of your colors, that's totally fine. Like, I think I'm actually not going to outline my rainbow right now. I like the way it's all just blending, right? If you did something maybe like this and you think it would be nice to have some neater edges, you can totally go back and outline, okay? It's up to you, but what I am gonna outline and go over is my box. And then, once we've done this, we're gonna actually shade it too. So, oops, it's all right, I kind of missed a spot. All right, here's that one. I'm gonna go back over, being careful not to put these lines, right? Not to draw those lines that we erased earlier. So in the end, we have our box. Oops, I forgot a line. Hold on, guys. A box. And now the last thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna give it some shading, just so that our box is more interesting to look at. I'm gonna say that the light is coming from over here on this side, okay? Which means it's shining onto this part of the box. So this is one of my lightest sides and this is one of my lightest sides. So I'm gonna start just by adding a little bit of shading here and in the bottom on the sides here where we can't see it as well. It's still a little lighter. I'm just gonna draw a little bit here because the rainbow is kind of covering up part of my flab. Then I'm gonna leave this nice and white, nice and clean, but underneath I'm gonna go in first. I'm just gonna give it some general color just so it looks different than the flap. And then I'm gonna go in again and draw another set of lines really close to the edge of this flap of the box. And I'm gonna draw it even darker so it looks like there's two lines. Now there's a line of shadow. And that's where this flap is blocking the light from reaching the bottom of this box. So mean. It's okay. And there you have it. I'm gonna draw my background. Okay. And really, at this point, I'm done. I could add more details if I wanted to. I could add a design, right? Maybe I will. I'll add a design on my floor or on this surface that my box is resting on. You could do stripes, you could do zigzags, you could do flowers, you could leave it blank. It's totally up to you, right? And remember, these are meant to be really flexible, really adaptable projects. I love seeing all your guys' submissions, so if you send it to your teacher or if you put it on your flip grids, I see a lot of those, and I'm just really loving all the artwork that you guys are creating. So pick your level, right? Pick your rainbow, but spread rainbows, you guys. We could all really use them. And then after you've finished your rainbows, show me what else is coming out of your box. Be creative. There's so many different things you can do with it, and I cannot wait to see what you guys have planned. Be safe. I miss you all.